Right, so I'm just going to hide some drawings.
Evening.
Now then, mate, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate.
Good.
I'm sort of just gonna cover sort of like the last price action from last week on the Asia ranges, more so because I know what sort of happened and I don't want to sort of confuse anything. But one of the first things I'm looking at from the Asia range sessions is the direct how the Asia session is formed. So on here, obviously you can see it's a bearish. It's a bearish Asia session. Um, at the time we were sort of bullish overall. Obviously, it started to break below these sort of areas as well. So once it sort of like creates this bearish conditions Asia range, we have a couple of options that I would be looking for to take trades from. So we have I'll just draw on a couple of options and then we'll get into the deeper stuff. So the options are it could literally sweep the bottom and then continue high. Could sweep the bottom, midline test, sell. I'll change these colors. Delete these colors. And we also have what are the other options? That's about it. To be fair, um, yeah, if we're creating a bearish Asia session, then yeah, these are the two options. So sweep the low, take the high, and maybe even continue. See, obviously sweeps the low, midline retest, continue for a sell. They're sort of like generally the two options from a bearish Asia session. We've got let's try and find a better one than that. These two I'd almost say a consolidation Asia sessions, maybe bullish slightly, but again, we'll find a better example just so it's cleaner for you guys to see.
And if it doesn't come back and retest the center or the other bit, you just don't take the trade.
Yeah, it's not something I'm looking to do. Um, it's not something I'm looking to do for. Sorry, I've got a bullish one there, so I just distracted. It's not something I'm looking to do for like I wouldn't take an entry. Obviously this session here, if this took the high, then pratted around for a while, and then the next day happened, I wouldn't be still holding this personally. I'm looking these with these. I'm just looking for the same day sort of setups.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'll use this example as what I was trying to do as well. So obviously, this one breaks out to the other side. It's a bullish Asia session. Takes a high, takes the low. So literally does that. It's obviously we're already in bearish conditions there as well. And the other option with this is take the high, midline, continue high. Just change that color as well. So it coming out of the Asia session is relatively important. Obviously, it's got to come out of the Asia session, otherwise, because the Asian session is considered a consolidation time zone. So the probability of it being taken one side or the other is obviously extremely likely. So when we come out of them, what I'm looking for is as you can see these lines here and boxes here, and see there'll be imbalances and things in here that I've already deleted. But basically what I'm looking for is with structures involved, which I'll just draw quickly. So I'm taking smaller time frame structures on consideration because I'm only looking at daily sort of trade zones. We've possibly got something like this. I'm going to re-alter this when I get to see the zoom to the right place. That there. Okay. Maybe not even that, maybe that. Based on my rules for structure, and then obviously it does this, it continued Thursday on, so that. So taking structure in consideration, one of my rules for structure is that I'll use this as an example because this is a good example. So this high here, sorry, this low here, well, and put this low puts in this high. Obviously, you've got this low and high here, so I want really looking for it to break this high. Obviously, you can see it doesn't. It tests it, but it does come very high into it. But that is so yeah, this low puts in this high. Obviously, it doesn't break a previous high, so this is the working range for this leg. Do that as well. So that from there to there is a working leg. So from on the Thursday, I was looking for, obviously it created this Asia range. I was looking for something in all these sort of areas of imbalances. As you can see, I've marked all these little imbalances. And that's what these yellow lines are. Just some overlaps previously, but when you're on the seconds chart, you can't see too far right. So I mark them anyway, and then if we get marked, I'll delete them. But it's obviously it taps the midline, roughly a midline from the same day that it was on. But obviously from the Friday, it's come out of the Asia high. Obviously downtrending 15-minute structures, obviously, which is what I drew a few minutes ago. So I'm looking for from that point is price to come up, fill one of these imbalances. I was super happy that it didn't break this wick high here. Yeah, it comes up and tests fairly close into it, but as you can see, it literally filled this imbalance here, this wick here. So yeah, and then obviously it comes into this, and then it 1 minute breaks a change of character, break a structure, however you want to call it, lower time frame stuff anyway. So obviously it's filled the imbalances in a little high up here. So I was looking at, there's a little zone just in here, I think it was. No, yeah, this one here. It just takes it again, and then oh no, sorry, no, ignore that last 30 seconds. It didn't quite fill this line here, but then it did here, so I was looking for a pending in here or here. It's, I think if you get down to like the seconds, you start to see why I was maybe picking these zones. Yeah, I'd have been on this time frame by the looks of it. So obviously you've got a bit of BPR here, which is level with the previous imbalance as well, which is quite a common thing that I see. So BPR there. Yeah. If you don't know what BPR is, just give us a shout. But it's basically two imbalanced candles that overlap, two real imbalanced candles. So bearing in mind this is the 10-second and these candles here are pretty big, so pretty much a pip in 10 seconds that way. Assuming it's just under that on the way back, about the same on the way back. So yeah, a full pip in 10 seconds is pretty big push. So there's definitely something that happens from around here and around here. Obviously, this little order block likely causes this. This little section here causes this. So chances are, if price were to come back, there's a lot of money be placed here to cause this down push. I'd have maybe considered this as an entry as well. I think I set, pending on this one, but I would have been watching it. I'd set an alert just below this, and I was going to watch it just because if you look at, obviously that's a pip push there. This one is a really big push, so nearly 2 pips in 10 seconds. So I'd have been keeping an eye on this, and if it had reacted out of this, I would have set, I'd have market executed there. But as I said previously, price ain't come back in the same day, so I've ignored it. It might come back this week, but it's not something I'll take now. I'll maybe watch it, and if it starts to get a good reaction, we will do it. But as you can see, just from basic structure, it closes below here. So this is my 1 minute break of structure, change of character, just there. So as soon as
Hi, Lee.
hey mate, you're right.
You all right? Have you got another BPR just there as well?
Where's that, mate? Sorry.
Around there, just where your cursor level was, down. There. Is that up? So the big
this bit
impact.
here.
Yeah.
No, mate, because I would say this is balanced here.
Fine.
See,
Cool.
yeah, well, I'll just go into that, mate, because I think I was on about it to Isaac on the weekend. He was asking about a lot of people believe these little bits here to be imbalanced, mate, but I'm saying they're not. I think technically it meets the criteria on I basically said on a basic level. The most basic level of imbalances is that there's a body in between 2 wicks.
Would that show, say, a BPR maybe on the 5 minute? Do you think? Because obviously there's 3 candles there.
Very possible, mate. Yeah. No.
No, it doesn't. Fine.
No.
Cool.
But obviously on the 5 minute, it shows us really big possible imbalance here. But
Yeah.
this is why I'm always saying drop down, because as you can see here, even if they are imbalances, they're broken up into 3 different ones just from the 5 minute. And if we drop down, I'll drop down through some of the seconds, and you can start to see like the all but disappear. If you look at this candle here, and this candle here, and then you can't tell me that they're the same candles. And obviously you've got wicks that are pushing over bodies here and things like that. So the lower down you get in, I'm not saying you have to go low. It's not something I would push for everybody, but you'd maybe go to that. Obviously you've got a wick here, which I don't like. That one disappears completely. So that one's definitely not. Maybe that. Wicks and that, everything. So I'd delete that one straight away. Maybe class that still. It's not the best. Yeah, I mean that's possibly imbalance, but obviously you've then got this BPR here now. So you're not going to take a buy from. You're not going to put your pending there when you've got this BPR here. So you can just by dropping through the time frames. Obviously, you've probably got BPR there as well. But yeah, you're just trying to find the most probable zone, and like I say, this candle here on the 5 second is huge. So yeah, one of these 2 zones. Like I say, probably possibly this, but just by dropping through the time frames, you can exclude a lot of the imbalances. So I've got maybe here, but directly above what you would consider put that imbalance in is a BPR imbalance here, huge imbalance here, BPR here. So like I say, your two higher zones are these two here. So anything below that, it's not for me. I would consider that too risky, unless it was unless like these lower ones to maybe look like the obvious cause of a breaker structure, but it don't look like it on the 5. It definitely don't look like it on the 1. So I would say it's from this one here possibly, which is why I was very interested in it, because you've got a bit of a break. It doesn't actually, this one here doesn't cause any damage. Don't take this low, or don't take this one, or is this one is the cause of breaking. This is like this one here and this one here. See, because you've got that pullback break. So yeah, I would have said this one was the most likely zone, but I don't know. Obviously, it's not played out yet, but that's what I was looking at Friday. But again, sorry, just going back. I want to get back on track. Sorry. Obviously, but from the Asia, we had a break of the high, filled in imbalance, did a break to the downside. So my options from here would have, like I say, would have been midline test continue, or take a high, take the low. They was the options, but like I say, bullish conditions, bearish conditions. Sorry, keep getting that wrong. Bearish conditions. So I was just this one. This one was the more obvious looking option with bearish conditions. So plus we had some imbalances down here. I think I've deleted it now, but just have a quick look in the 1 minute. Maybe something there, possibly this here. Trend, some equal lows there. So that would have been a possible target. I think I've said on the last few lives, obviously targets are super important, just as important as your entry. 2 seconds, Stephen. I'll get to your question. Obviously, you've got practical equal lows on the bottom of the Asia. Good sign that it would want to bypass the midline. Some equal lows there. And then we start getting to imbalances down here. Tiny bit of imbalance, but it's there. You've got possible little BPR. Equal lows here as well. Pretty much. Yeah, that's about that anyway. So yeah, as Tom says, Stephen, it's just the Asia it's the middle of the Asia session, mate. So if you get the indicator, so this is 11 p.m. UK time to 7 in the morning. Obviously, you've got your high, you've got your low, and this is just 50% of that session, mate. So it's nothing fancy. It's just the middle of the Asia session, through the middle. It's in regards to the Asia midline, obviously test. It looks like there was one here as well. So a buy. I don't know what day that was. Tuesday. So as you can see, it's take the high, midline retest, possible 1 minute breaker structure, continue. There might have been a little zone in here or something, for a buy or something. We can have a quick look actually if you want, just see if it's viable. Don't think I tried trading this, so actually take a couple of candles. So took the high, midline retest, 1 minute break structure above here. That's what this causes. So from about here is, if I was looking at it, this is probably where I'd be looking at a possible buy from. I'd be dropping down. So I don't think I'd have got this one in a way. Once you've got this, so my entry, I would have had a pending here. That'd have been my pending there. Lowest imbalance.
Would you class that bit as BPR or not?
Uh,
Is that too
probably
far away?
no. It's not. The distance is fine, mate. I'm not worried by that. It's just, it's like this is 2 or 3 candles. It's very possible it is, but this isn't. It's almost not steep enough, and the candle that big enough for me, mate. Especially when you've got this the other side of it. So I mean, this is a huge bit of imbalance.
So you want kind of like one of them similar size?
Well, they don't even have to be too similar. It's just, I mean, if you count all these, they're all relatively the same size. Although it's a good, I mean, if you was in the trade on a sell from me, you'd love seeing these, but they're all roughly fairly similar. I know you get some real small ones and slightly bigger ones, but this imbalance here stands out different from all the rest of the other candles. There's no wicks. It's just pretty much full body. This one's pretty much full body. It's just not quite enough for my liking, mate.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so I would be saying just imbalance, not BPR. But it's, I know we had a big thing a couple of months ago about BPRs in the FVG chat about BPRs, and they are powerful, but I think ultimately what we're looking for, mate, is the imbalance anyway. So the only difference that would be on a BPR is, use this one here, mate, as an example. If I was to say this is a BPR, so I'd be saying something like that. I know it don't play out here, but just ignore that. If that was a BPR, my imbalance would start there. So so my pending would likely, if it was really tight, I'd probably just set my pending to the top of the both of where they both meet, and then set a pending at that if my criteria was met. But generally I'd be just doing the imbalance anyway, because it may, while it's here, it sort of almost may as well fill the imbalance as well. So
yeah, sound.
yeah,
Cheers,
I just think imbalance is the more important aspect, mate. So got a couple of questions. Thank you. The indicator is, mate, is Asia session high, low, midline. Just see if I can find the actual. There's a plus sign. Yeah, I don't know, mate. By that one there, major, something like that. Probably just offended someone, but that's it there, mate. I'll post it in the supply chat anyway, mate.
Yeah, that time next to the Asian session where it says that you have to keep that time on it, don't you?
Yes, so
Because I moved mine to normal time and it was all over the shop.
yeah, I'll just click on settings. So these are the times I've got. So it's 6 till 2 on the indicator, but I think because the indicators from wherever it be, like let's say it's created in America or whatever, the indicator shows on their time, but trading views in our time, so it links to be right once if you use that time. So yeah, obviously Asia session starts here, so 11 o'clock till 7. I think some people use till 6, but this works. This has been working for me, so I'll stick with it. Getting some good results, obviously. Last week was two hits. Tuesday, was it Wednesday, Thursday, sorry. Friday was just didn't come back. I wasn't really looking before that, to be honest, but like I say, I'd have missed Tuesday. And again, you've got here, so it breaks out the bottom, test the midline. Not the best looking, but so yeah, how it comes out of the Asia session is important. Yes, so I'll just recap over it, guys. I'm just going to delete some of the pictures. So yeah, just as a quick recap, basically Asia session creation. Once it comes out, you want it to fill an imbalance, break 1 minute. Once it breaks 1 minute, there'll be a supply or demand zone hopefully at the top, and then obviously that'll be your pending, set your pending, and then it's you targeting obviously usually somewhere around the Asia low. Imbalance fills, test a low, or if there's little juicy zones at the midline, just be aware that it might be a midline retest continuation. Obviously take into consideration structures, order blocks, imbalances, liquidities. So plenty of liquidities to be had for both your entries and exit points. So if you've got a equal high, say just above your entry was here, you had equal highs up here, chances are it's going to want to continue take the liquidity into something else. So you might be to the trade premature. And that's just the basics of it, really. It's super simple. If there's any questions, guys, hit them in the box. I'm sort of running out of things to talk about it. So John asks for people watching back, when you say it happens a couple of times a week, mate, is that over all pairs? No, this was just over GU, mate. I've only really been watching EU and GU. Obviously the markups I've got are from that I've been showing you from this week. So there's that one here on Thursday, this one here on Wednesday. Obviously did what I wanted to do on Friday, it just didn't come back to the entry. And I have no idea about Monday, Tuesday because I wasn't watching them. But between EU, GU, I think a lot of people do it on gold as well, mate. I think Friday gold was a lot cleaner than the rest of them. As you can see here, it's taking the high, then taking the low, bearish conditions again. So might have been an entry in there, maybe. I think it was just shy of. If I remember right, I was talking about it on Friday. Takes the high, continues to the low. Maybe a midline retest or something, that sort of thing going on actually. Midline retest, takes the low, midline retest, continues. Just pop and show you gold because I think I marked that up on Friday after it played out. But
Lee, do you find you miss a load of trades because you're like actually squeezing the hell out of it? Do you find that you miss quite
with
quite a
tight
few?
entries?
Yeah.
But
then I suppose it weighs it out when you do actually get one because you're getting them more.
Yeah, the way I look at it, mate, is I've always sort of like been of the opinion that yes, I will miss trades because of it, but the ones that do hit far make up for the bigger stop loss and the hit rate dropping slightly, if that makes sense. So if I take 4 trades a month and I get a 3 pip stop loss and it goes 15 to 20 out, that's better than me aiming for a 1 to 4 and hitting 8, you know. So
yeah, no, I get that.
yeah, because I believe like the imbalances are pretty much everything I'm looking for, then if it doesn't fully fill it, I'm of the belief that it will come back for it to fill it at some point. It might be in a few weeks or whatever, and it might use that imbalance to continue moving the market higher if I was looking for a sells originally.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, I suppose it saves you going into drawdown as well. If it's going to go your way, it's going to go your way.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I think when I get things right, I very rarely go more than 40-50%
I have
into
noticed
drawdown.
that.
So
I've noticed that when you get it spot on with the imbalance, you literally just zero drawdown.
Yeah, I think there was a few not last week, the week before, or the week before that one. So maybe 2 weeks ago, there was one that I wasn't even sure if it had triggered. It was that tight. So, but it must have tapped me in, and then within, because I think I had a look at it. I think it was 10 seconds. I would have been 1.5 R up already. Do you know? So
yeah, decent.
So yeah, there's no drawdown a lot of the time. It literally pips you perfect and then goes your way.
Yep, sound.
But yeah, obviously this one was Friday. I won't mark it. I looked at this over the weekend, but obviously you got bearish conditions overall. Sort of high, low, lower high. Obviously it goes and creates a lower low, but it's super tight. I don't think I'd have took this one really, but it took the high here. It then breaks a 1 minute structure, little low in here, comes back, mitigates it, just pips above it. But obviously, I would always say to allow for spreads and things anyway, and a touch more. I'm not saying too much more, but then obviously you get a sell from there. So that was Friday on gold. That was probably the better option.
I think I had some markups actually on gold with the BPR. Do you remember I asked you if there was a BPR?
Yes, mate. I think this was it. I think he was looking on the hourly, was it?
Would have been the hourly. Well, I think I would have sent it in on the hourly, but it would have probably been the 5 minute, I reckon.
Yeah. Because I think Stuart was looking at I think he had like a minute BPR.
It was either 5 minute or a minute. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but normally when I sometimes send in my markups, I do an hour because it's just like easier to see.
Yeah. So I mean, this.
What do you reckon it's doing?
Sorry,
Do you reckon? Go on, mate.
I was just going to say, obviously, gold's quite hard for me to drop down to the seconds because it becomes really wicky. But if I'd have been watching it, I'd have been saying if it fills that sort of like imbalance-ish line. I know it's not imbalance on here because it's gold, but if you could tear wicks off somewhere around there as a fill is what I would have been aiming for. But this is one of the reasons why I don't trade gold, because it don't really meet my fills for imbalance. So I'm just off, so it's a bit lower.
There's so much money in gold. It's not like general forex, if you know what I mean.
No, it's just not. It's not really for me, mate. But
no, I know what you're saying there as well. Because with gold, it's just complete. The thing with gold, it's a commodity rather than a currency pair.
Yeah, that's right.
And people are investing into it rather than the banks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I've had setups on it and things. It works out to my main system. But yeah, it's just super because I'm looking for imbalance fills. It's just not user friendly for me as such. So
I've been waiting for it to. Obviously, I've been trying to catch that sell for bloody ages.
Yeah.
It's been doing my head in. I want it to come down to the 2432 area. So up a bit. You see the. Well, hang on a minute. Which I think it's
you said around this low here.
Yeah,
which
that's
you
it. That news
yeah,
candle. So that was a
yeah,
news candle.
yeah,
I'm hoping it's going to come down and take that liquidity.
yeah,
That's my opinion. That
yeah,
I think that's where it wants to come down. Take that out. I
yeah,
don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to come down to where your orange line is, but I've got a feeling it will come down to where your green line is and reverse again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It may make sense, mate. There's multiple structures going on. So I mean, if for a higher time frame sort of thing going on, you've got just,
From what I can remember, the all-time high was at the end of last month,
yeah, yeah,
and
right,
we just come to the end of month again, so the EOM, and it didn't break. It didn't break again. So
yeah,
I think now it's ready to sell for a bit.
yeah,
The trend's going to be pushing down, especially to your green line there, and then
yeah,
it
yeah,
will probably push back up again, I reckon.
yeah. So I've drawn this here. So obviously this is a current. I mean, this is what I would call my 15-minute leg here. Until obviously I've got this marked as a low, but until really creates a new high, this is not a valid low. So this is our current leg on my sort of 15, maybe down here. But I think I definitely want to see it, but if we're going bearish, I definitely want to see it, like you say, break below this green line as a minimum. But it could still effectively go. Obviously, it's done that. It could effectively continue like that, because this is this bigger.
Have you had a look at it on the daily?
No, mate.
So there was a few bits which I noticed on the daily. Which obviously, yeah, so you've got your green line there. Obviously, there's that imbalance level to the big green one there. Yep.
Oh, no,
There's
yeah,
that imbalance level there, which
yeah,
I noticed at the end of last week when I noticed it was potentially going into
yeah,
sells. But now, obviously, at the moment, you can see it's gone into a massive consolidation area up at the top,
yeah, yeah,
which to me is either going to break another all-time high or
yeah,
come down
yeah,
and break that green line level,
yeah,
which for me would then be